Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahakodash. I want to send double honor to the elders, apostles, and bishops at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and safety is to the hopeful elect Akim out there doing this work. Much love to the scattered elect and to the few sincere women that subscribe to the true doctrine. This is the brother you call him out for the Great Millstone Camp, the branch out here in Omaha, Nebraska. Coming back with another lesson, Lord willing, to feed and to edify the lost sheep of the nation of Israel through the Holy Spirit, Rahakodash. Right? And the Israelites consist of the so-called Negroes, the so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans by the seed of your father, no matter what you may look like. All right, and just want to get into a couple of articles that I came across. Right now we're currently in a government shutdown, and as we're in the shutdown, which I'll get into what led to the shutdown and what Trump is doing to counteract the shutdown in a sense, right? So what Trump is actually doing, which is one of the articles that I wanted to bring out. This is from Politico.com, and this is dated as of October the 1st, 2025. So today is October the 3rd, 2025, so this is 2 days ago, right? So it says, Trump targets states that voted for Harris in shutdown fight. The Office of Management and Budget is withholding billions of energy and infrastructure money in more than a dozen states that voted against Trump. All right, so these blue states, the ones that voted against Trump are these blue states, and two so far that we've seen where Trump has froze fundings is New York, and as of today, October the 3rd, you had Chicago. All right. Now in New York, they froze a substantial amount of funds, being 18 billion. All right, opposed to Chicago, which is 2.1 billion. Which either way is still a lot. Anything that has more than 6 digits behind the first number it's a lot, man. And we're gonna get into what was actually the particulars of the New York funds being cut and also Chicago. But I wanted to start here in the ask the chat a question, right? So we're gonna get into these articles, get into this chat a little bit, and go and get some precepts, and Lord willing, this will be edifying, right? So getting into the chat, I simply typed in, why couldn't the Republicans and Democrats agree to extend government funding? And it says, the ongoing U.S. government shutdown, which began on October the 1st, 2025, stems from a deadlock between Republicans and Democrats over funding legislation. The immediate cause of the impasse, which the impasse is just they couldn't come to an agreement, all right? So, pretty much they didn't make any progress in coming to an agreement on government spending. And it says the immediate cause of the impasse is the expiration of the ACA, which is the Affordable Care Act subsidies, which Democrats insist must be extended before they agree to any funding bill. Republicans, however, contend that healthcare policy discussions should occur separately from the funding debate. So the Democrats, they wanted to, like as I said, they want to extend the Affordable Care Act, which is, the name is essentially in itself to make the cost of healthcare affordable for the American people. Okay, now the Republicans, they didn't want, they didn't want that to be included in the debate. Let's have these separate talks. We're gonna figure out what we're gonna spend money on. All right, spend this government money on, and then afterwards we'll take care of the health insurance. We'll figure that out. Which essentially is what the Republicans saying, but the Democrats ain't having that. They wasn't having it, man. So here we are, right? And this is the book of Matthew 12 in verse 25. It says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Okay, so right now we're seeing the left and the right, they're going at it, man. All right, and right now what Trump is doing is he's playing hardball. Okay, and this there's an article, in the article, it states it, and also in the chat states it, but I'd rather get into the article. All right, so let's get into this Politico.com, where it says Trump targets states that voted for Harris in shutdown fight. And it says the White House is targeting Democratic states with its first wave of cuts to federal projects following the government shutdown, impacting billions of dollars in funding for energy and infrastructure in New York, California, and elsewhere. Right now, as far as California, there was major funds cut from them, but this was prior to the shutdown. Right, this is actually going back into July. Let's see, make sure. Yep, going back into July, where it says Trump withholds $6.8 billion in education grants. California threatens legal action. So this happened before the shutdown. All right, and but when you look at the map, this is one of those left states, one of those blue states that did not vote for Trump. All right, now not only has Trump been, not only did he cut education grants from California, but also this is one of those targeted states as far as with these ICE raids and where the National Guards are actually deployed. Okay, and specifically to be in Los Angeles. Now there are talks as far as California is concerned by National Guards being deployed in also San Francisco and Oakland, which that hasn't been seen. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep an eye open for that. But this is one of those states that voted against Trump. Okay, so you can clearly now something that Trump said. Now when what's his name, Charlie Kirkland, when his alleged assassination happened, Trump made a speech, which I'll play it. It's very short, maybe all of 20 seconds, and he speaks of he don't like his opponents. An opponent is clearly your opposition, an enemy. Okay, so this is fair use, fair use. I'm just gonna play the sound bite. Not gonna actually show it, but this is fair use, fair use. All right.
In that private moment on his dying day, we find everything we need to know about who Charlie Kirk truly was. He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me.
Yeah, so he says it plain and clear. Now, he's doing a great show of that right now. Right, showing that anybody that opposes him, anybody that's not for his part, you are considered his opponent. You're considered his enemy. Okay? And he's showing that, because this, what does it say? Because with this government shutdown, it, certain things that it hurts, it really hurts those of these different blue collar jobs. Individuals that do manual labor, such as electricians, HVAC workers, who else? Warehouse workers, the TSA, firefighters. This affects their pay. Okay, this is why there's all these different furloughs and possible layoffs coming. Those that are like airport security or TSA, they're required to go to work, but they just might have their check put on hold, man. Now if I was a betting man, I bet that'll piss you off because you still got bills. He didn't say the bills were going to stop. He didn't say, oh, we're going to stop charging people for these services since we're in a shutdown, and we understand that your checks may be put on hold. Like, no, things are still going to be moving, man. All right, things are still going to be moving. Okay, now where did I want to go next? So I got a bunch of tabs open. Boom. Yeah, let's get back into this article. All right. Matter of fact, no, I want to get this preset. Isaiah, the 19th chapter and the 15th verse. Okay. So Isaiah 9:15, it says, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do, because I seen something earlier today where there's gonna, due to the shutdown, there's gonna be a bunch of layoffs over. I believe even 750,000. I seen that this morning. 750,000 uh, Congress workers were going to be laid off. Okay, so for some reason, here we go. All right, it's moving slow all of a sudden. Yep. So this is from federalnewsnetwork.com. It says government funding vote fails again in Senate as hope fade for quick end to shutdown. And then now it says, just going to get straight to it. Right. So it says still the shutdown, no matter how long it lasts, could have far-reaching effects on the economy. Roughly 750,000 federal employees could be furloughed, according to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, and they could lose out on $400 million in daily wages. That loss in wages until after the government reopens could drive down wider demands for goods and services. So this is going to affect people, man. All right. And Trump, the thing is about Trump is he's putting pressure on the Democratic Party. And the article that I want to get into next, it complements this Isaiah chapter 19, verse 4. Okay. So let's get into this next article. A little bit more on this political, then I want to jump into the routers. Okay, it's a little bit more on this political. It says, Russ Vought, director of the Office of Management and Budget, said Wednesday the Trump administration is canceling nearly $8 billion in funding for energy programs he characterized as the left's climate agenda. The cuts will impact 16 states, all of which voted for former Vice President Kamala Harris in last year's presidential election. Vought did not identify exactly which programs will be cut in social media announcement, but so far we're seeing two of them. All right. Right now we're seeing the, what is that in Chicago? There's the red line. I think I got that up. Yep. The red line extension says Trump pauses $2.1 billion for Chicago's red line extension and other infrastructure projects, citing race-based contracting. And the red line is vital. Says it's vital for connecting disparate city neighborhoods, serving as CTA's busiest rail line with nearly 4 million rides in 2024 and providing essential 24-hour service for commuters, students, and tourists. So this is a major line, and with that being closed, it's going to cause, it says, residents and visitors would face significant disruption due to its role as a vital transit artery, particularly for north-south travel. So this would, this would change travel times. It'll overwhelm the metro stations. Okay, and that's going to be, it's just going to be chaotic, man. Okay, it's going to be very chaotic. And right now they're cutting $2.1 billion from that red line. Okay, so this is not a minuscule freezing of funds for Chicago, man. This is a major thing. This is one of the main sources of traveling in Chicago. All right. It says earlier back in the political, it says earlier Wednesday, Vought said the White House is withholding $18 billion in funds from New York City's Second Ave subway and gateway tunnel projects, the latter which connects New Jersey and New York. Okay, and New Jersey also, one of the New York tri-state areas, states, okay, which is New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. None of those three voted for Trump. Well, this is that's a major avenue of traveling that they're going to cut off too, or cut the funds from too. So there's going to be um, there's going to be hell, right? There's going to be hell, man. People are going to, same thing. The metro stations are going to be overwhelmed. Okay, traveling is going to be, traveling is going to be a headache. All right. Now New York, just looking at certain videos and things like that. New York is already hectic when it comes to traveling. So when you have these different gateways and tunnel projects put on hold because you don't have the funds for it, there's going to cause problems, man. Okay, security problems. Okay, it's going to cause man. You have to. These things have to be updated. You can't, like with railroads and tunnels. You have to constantly do work on them to ensure that they're safe for people to ride. Okay, so if they're not safe to ride, that's going to cause what? It's going to cause lack of trust in getting on these different traveling via through these different tunnels and these different railways. All right, but Trump doesn't care, man. All right, so now let's get into this next article and bring out a couple precepts. So this is from Reuters.com. It says Trump frees the Chicago transit funding, targeting Democratic areas and shutdown. All right. So now I want to kind of skip down since we really kind of covered most of the information covering Chicago. There was a point in here that I wanted to get. Right. So we'll read down to the second to last part of the article, which it says no sign of swift solution. It says in Washington, the shutdown stalemate showed no signs of ending. The U.S. Senate is due to vote on dueling Democratic and Republican plans to end the shutdown on Friday, but neither is likely to win passage. If the shutdown continues in a fourth day Saturday, it will be the fifth longest in U.S. history, which the longest one was during the time of Barack Obama in 2019, which the shutdown lasted 35 days. Okay. It says the Democrats and Republicans have spent the past several days blaming each other for their failure to keep the government funded beyond October the 1st, the start of the fiscal year, and they do not appear to have made any headway toward a deal that would allow money to flow again. The standoff in Congress has frozen $1.7 trillion in funds for agency operations, which amounts to roughly 1/4 of annual federal spending. Much of the remainder goes to health and retirement programs and interest payments on the $37.5 trillion debt. All right. So now it says, let's continue. It says Democrats say any funding package must also expand pandemic-era healthcare subsidies due to expire at the end of December, while Republicans say that the issue should be dealt with separately. House of Representatives Speaker Mike Johnson, a Republican, said he is not troubled by Trump's pressure campaign, which undercuts Congress' constitutional authority over spending matters. According to him, it says President Trump is just as anxious to get the government back open as we are, he told reporters. And he is trying to apply pressure to make that happen. He probably is, yeah, and I applaud that. But that is causing, it could cause chaos. Okay, I won't say that it will, but it can cause chaos, and it's it's going to cause a lot of people, as we know, to lose their jobs or not go without pay, man. All right. It says a prolonged shutdown could disrupt air travel and food aid for millions of America. Trump don't give a damn, man. All right, he don't give a damn, and also force federal courts to close. Federal workers would miss their first paycheck in mid-October, and if the standoff is not resolved by then, right? This is the book of Isaiah 19 and verse 4. And the Egyptians will I give over to the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord Yahweh of hosts. So Trump don't give a damn how this affects anybody, especially with that clip that I played from CNN, where it says he hates his opponents and he don't wish the best for them. But we're witnessing that. not only with the budget cuts, but also with the immigration raids. Okay, Trump is coming down with, like it says in Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, knowing that he hath but a short time." And that devil just simply means a deceiver or a slanderer. Okay, right? It goes into diablos, which is one that's slander, um, metaphorically applied to a man who, by imposing the cause of the Most High, may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with him. All right, so when he's uh, um, one of those anti-Messiah, he has an anti-Messiah spirit on him, man. Okay, Trump doesn't uphold the scriptures. He doesn't care about the well-being of the people. All right, and what does it say in the Book of Wisdom of Solomon? This is why it says that in Wisdom of Solomon that the welfare of the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world, because we're not gonna have to worry. You know, when our kingdom is set up, we're gonna have to worry about a government shutdown. Everybody's gonna be set up in their own little areas. All these different nations, you're gonna be set up good or good enough to survive. All right, you're gonna have your fair share of whatever substance. At least you don't condone unto the law, statutes, and commandments. All right, going into the book of Isaiah, that's 60 and verse 12. All right, that's what'll happen if you don't comply. But essentially, think people are going to be set up. All right, the nation of Israel is going to be set up at the top of the mountains, according to the Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. Okay, and who's going to be our what is that? According to the book of Sirach, the 10th chapter, in 4th verse, it says that profitable king or that profitable ruler is going to be our Lord Yahushua, man. Okay, we ain't gonna have no Republicans and Democrats in the kingdom of heaven. All right, it's gonna be one government, and that government is gonna be the government of Yasharala, man, or Israel. All right. I believe there's another one that I want to get into, another article, but that's pretty much it, man. 'Cause I have a lot of them that just pretty much saying the same things. Yeah, with the yeah. I believe we touched everything. Okay, so this is clearly a ploy, as it appears that Trump wants to get the Democrats to come and negotiate some type of. But we're gonna see how long this goes. We're gonna see how long this lasts. All right, and as far as the freezing of funds, we'll see. We'll see what the outcome of that is and how long this goes and where else it goes. It may continue. It may spread to other Democratic cities. It may not, but we're going to see. All right, but we know that this is putting pressure on the Democratic Party, and if they don't come to a conclusion, this is going to put a lot of people in jeopardy in these states. Okay, so with that being said, I pray that this was an edifying lesson. And I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honor to the elders, apostles, and bishops, a great millstone. Peace, love, and safety is to the elect. Shalom.